GoValiants.com field here in lovely Purchase, New York, the site of tonight's Mac Freedom men's lacrosse matchup between the visiting DeSales Bulldogs and the host Manhattanville Valiants. Casey Shermick bringing you all the action here tonight from GoValiants.com field. Tyson Agler getting an early break to his Easter holiday back in Ohio. Made the long trek back across New York last night, got home safely. So, Tyson, if you're watching, we're all of us here at Manhattanville glad you got home safely. Hope you enjoy your time away from work. But for the Manhattanville College men's lacrosse team, their work is just beginning. 1-1 so far in conference play this season, taking on the Bulldogs, a team that they are just 3-6 against all time. 1-1 as well are the Bulldogs. Great matchup here tonight between the Bulldogs and Valiants, a game that could have major playoff implications down the line. Both of these teams vying for a spot in the Mac Freedom postseason. Manhattanville is off to their best start since 2008 when the team went 8-8 on the season. Manhattanville's not had a winning season since 1992. Trying to accomplish that feat this year, a healthy and very talented young lineup this season, a big offensive spark to this Manhattanville College team. We saw last year a very limited roster size. They had a bunch of injuries and fought through it, had a decent turnout for a season, but just could not get anything going in conference play, missed the postseason. They're trying to turn that around this year. Valiants, as we said, missed the playoffs last year. In fact, they have missed it every year since joining the Mac Freedom. They split their first two games, as we said. They beat Delaware Valley in their first Mac Freedom matchup this season before losing Misericordia last weekend, trying to get to that postseason for the first time in program history since joining the Mac Conference. DeSales, on the other hand, they have a lot to live up to this year. They finished second last season at 6-1 in conference play during the regular season. They went just 2-4 the year before. Head coach Matt Brancaccio was named the Mac Freedom Coach of the Year after the big turnaround season, and now this year the Bulldogs were picked second in the preseason coaches poll. DeSales beat FDU Florham in their first Mac Freedom game of the season before falling to Eastern, the five-time reigning Mac Freedom Conference champions, last weekend. As we said, Manhattanville 3-6 all-time against DeSales. Their last win came here at GoValiants.com field the last time these two met. It was a 5-overtime thrilling contest. Andrew Murray scoring in the 5th overtime period for the game winner in that contest. Last year, however, with the injuries and the hot season for the Bulldogs, Manhattanville fell on the road in Center Valley 18-4. Tonight it's going to be a battle of possession. DeSales runs a very meticulous offense. They like to get a certain look on the offensive end before they attack the cage. They really like to attack from the wings. We'll keep an eye on the matchups on the outside here tonight. Good ball movement by the Bulldogs, but they don't necessarily overpower teams, scoring just around 7.5 goals a game. 4 games this season where they've scored 6 goals or less. On the other hand, Manhattanville, a very potent offensive team. As we said, they've got a lot of young guns in the lineup and really have set the tone so far this season for the offense. Manhattanville, the best shooting percentage in the Mac Freedom this year, scoring on 34% of the shots on goal that they take. But the big weakness for Manhattanville is definitely going to be in the faceoff circle. They've struggled there so far early on in the season. DeSales not exactly stellar themselves, so that's going to be one of the big key matchups here to keep an eye on tonight. See who can get possession and who can set up their offensive looks and who can generate offensive chances from that possession battle. Let's get to know both of these teams a little bit better. Let's look at the players to watch for DeSales here first. Freshman Frank Krug, a long stick midfielder from LaSalle High School, leads the country in caused turnovers per game at over 4.3 turnovers caused per contest. He's got 39 caused turnovers on the season, 39 ground balls to match that turnover stat for the freshman. He will most likely be covering Andrew Murray all night on the defensive end, a matchup that head coach Ryder Bolander spoke about earlier here today. Said he wants to try to exploit that matchup. He knows Murray's one of the best attackers in the conference. He's able to create opportunities with his feet, a lot of quickness, a lot of speed from the senior on the offensive end. We'll keep an eye on that matchup all night tonight. Second player to watch here for the Bulldogs, senior midfielder Justin Wilson, 3-time all-conference player. And Wilson comes into tonight's game leading the team in goals with 18 and points with 19. 1 assist on the year to go with his 18 goals. A very consistent scorer. Doesn't necessarily put up huge numbers on the offensive end, but makes an impact in a lot of games that he is involved with. He scored a season-high 3 goals against Elizabethtown earlier this year. As we said, a season-high 3 goals. So not, like we said, not exactly an explosive player, but like we said at the top of the broadcast, DeSales not exactly an explosive offensive team. Very meticulous, and Wilson, one of the top guys they go to on the offensive end. And finding Wilson is attacker Josh Harmon. The junior from Shirley, New York, leads the MAC Freedom in assists per game, 2.5 helpers per contest. He had 4 assists against FDU Florham and Arcadia this year, and DeSales will definitely look to run their offense through him tonight. On the other end of the field, players to watch out for Manhattanville. We're going to stay on the offensive end here for this one. Senior midfielder Andrew Murray, we mentioned him already at the top of the broadcast, leads the team in faceoff wins, points, goals, shots on goals, and ground balls this season. He does it all for Manhattanville. The main faceoff man for the Valiants and also their best offensive weapon. We said we'll keep an eye on him in the matchup against Frank Krug. We said he has the ability to create shots for himself, a lot of speed, a lot of quickness. He's really come in and made an impact in his first 3 full seasons. He was injured for the majority of last year, a medical hardship, so he will actually be back next year with Manhattanville as a graduate student, something that the Valiants are really looking forward to, trying to build this lineup and get a core returner group coming back next year to compete. Freshman attacker Will Duvall, the California native, is second on the team in goals, first in assists, looking to become the 9th freshman in program history to reach the 50-point plateau in his first season. A key player for Manhattanville on the offensive end. Definitely a big compliment to Murray so far this season. As you can see on the stats on the screen, 16 goals, 9 assists for 25 points, just 1 point behind Murray for the team lead. A big freshman season for Will Duvall. Valiants will definitely be looking for him for help on the offensive end tonight. And another player to look for on the offensive end, TJ Cacavo, another freshman from California. He's also exploded as of late. 13 goals and 6 assists on the season. He sits third on the team in points with 19. In the loss against Salve Regina a few weeks ago, he scored 4 goals, and he also has the ability to create room for himself on the offensive end, just like Murray and Duvall. And finally, the matchup between the Pipes in the crease tonight for DeSales. Matt Barry, sophomore netminder, allowing just over 8 goals per game this season, a .529 save percentage, and 9 saves per game. He's recorded 11 saves 3 times this year and has a 4-5 record entering tonight's game. Doesn't see a lot of action. Manhattanville's going to try to put the pressure on him tonight, try to get him to make a lot of saves if he wants to get DeSales the win here in Purchase tonight. And the Valiants, they're going to go with their all-conference netminder, Zach Hoffman. The senior's 5-4 this season, a .539 save percentage. He's been busy in between the Pipes in the team's first 2 conference games this year, averaging 17 saves per game in the first 2 matchups in conference play this year. 23 saves last season, 2 years ago when these 2 teams met in that 5 overtime game. 12 of those 23 saves coming in the overtime periods. Going to need to have a big game here tonight to help Manhattanville with a huge conference win if they want to move to 2-1 on the season. Final seconds ticking off the clock here in pregame warm-ups. We will get to the starters and national anthem in just a few moments. Here are the starters for tonight's contest for DeSales. As we said, in goal, they're going to go with Matt Barry. The defenders, Sean Palin, Jack Carney, and Tyle Davis. In the midfield, Justin Wilson, Brian Weber, Justin Monahan. And the attackers, Eric Magro, Josh Harmon, and Tyler Newman. DeSales is led by third-year mentor Matt Brancaccio. He's assisted by Sean Collins, Matt Macario, Paul Muse, and Steve Alkers. And the Valiants, they're going to go with a similar lineup to what we've seen most times this season. Zach Hoffman between the pipes. On the defensive end, it's going to be Chris Asen, Connor Keogh, and Sam Hahn. In the midfield, Sawyer Godo, Andrew Murray, and Jake Caton. And on the attacking end, Colin Morrissey, Will Duvall, and Tristan Green. So teams lining up here just in front of the press box. National anthem about to be played here at GoValiants.com field. We'll take a quick break for the anthem, and we will be back with your starting lineups as they get introduced and face-off coming in just a few moments.
For tonight's MAC Freedom Men's Lacrosse matchup, featuring the Bulldogs of DeSales University and your Manhattanville College Valiants. For tonight's starting lineups, we ask you please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Presenting Bulldogs.
National anthem played, starting lineups being introduced here at GoValiants.com field. Face off just moments away in this Big Mac Freedom battle between the Bulldogs and the Valiants. DeSales comes into the game 3-2 in their last 5 contests, like we said, trying to make the Mac Freedom postseason for the 2nd straight year. Their only loss so far this year came to Eastern. That was the only loss they suffered last year in conference play as well, as we said, going 6-1 last year in conference play. The preseason 2nd place pick are the Bulldogs. Last year when they made the postseason, they fell to Misericordia 7-6 in the Mac Freedom semifinals. Trying to fill a void this year a bit on the offensive end. A couple transfers and some graduates leaving the team. Some of the big ones standing out, Joe Negia and Ryan Laughlin, some of the biggest scorers on the offensive end for the Bulldogs last season. Done a pretty good job so far this year, as we said, 4-5, but the record doesn't necessarily tell the story for the Bulldogs. Pretty similar situation last season, as the Bulldogs had a tough time in non-conference play and came into league play and went 6-1, like we said. Bit of a surprise among teams in the conference, but made a lot of noise last year and now have a lot of big shoes to fill this season. Manhattanville also coming into this game 3-2 on the season, or excuse me, 3-2 in their last 5 games. We mentioned they're trying to make the postseason for the first time in program history. A lot of returners coming back to the team last year, just one graduating senior. And like we said, a couple of very good freshmen joining the team this year. Will Duvall, TJ Cacavo, 2 of them that stand out a lot on the offensive end. So captain's meetings here at midfield. Final instructions from tonight's officials. Tonight's officials, Bruce Gulick, Kaz Delio, John Kress on the field in the stripes. And we are just about ready to go here from Purchase. Andrew Murray and Jake McNamara into the face-off circle to take the opening draw here tonight. McNamara, face-off specialist for DeSales. For Manhattanville, as we said, Murray, he does it all. He's going to take this face-off and immediately grab his offensive stick from the sideline and try to get back on the field as soon as possible. Ball is placed, face-off, and we are underway. Face-off controlled initially by DeSales and scooped up, ground ball to McNamara. And now trying to set up from the defensive end, finally getting possession and getting this one back to Barry in the crease, and they will set up their initial possession of tonight. Very patient attack, as we said, very meticulous. That one just off the mark, but scooped up nicely by Monahan. Now into the offensive end, and here come the Bulldogs. setting up the attack for the first time, Justin Wilson on the right wing. Now they swing this one behind. Now up top, Newman. Across, and Bulldogs, like we said, a lot of ball movement on the offensive end. They're going to try to find a look that they want before they make any attempts to go to goal. Up top, it's Monahan. Now swing pass over to the wing. Taking a look at goal. Weber, now he slings it behind. And the Bulldogs continue to move the ball around the outside. That pass going to be thrown away off the mark. A turnover there by the Bulldogs. And possession will go to Manhattanville, their first clear attempt of the night. As we said, a big possession battle here in this one. It's going to be extremely important for both these squads to have a lot of successful clears from the defensive end. Hoffman now up towards midfield, tries to float that one up towards the midfield line, just out of reach though for Jake Caton. And the Bulldogs pick it up and they go right back to work on the offensive end. Carrying this one behind the net, now swung around to Harmon. Back up top, McNamara. He will just slowly set up the offense one more time. Now Friedman will enter the zone. Down low from behind the net now. Bulldogs again swinging it around. Counterclockwise rotation for this Bulldog offense. Entering the zone now are the Bulldogs. Thought about the shot was Friedman. Instead swings it behind. Back up top now to Magro. Magro working. Now shot attempt on the way. That one bounces low and over the cage. That shot coming from Wilson. Trying to get on the board here early on. Just unable to get the bounce into the top corner. DeSales keeps possession. Friedman enters the zone. Now behind the net. Up top, Magro open. He shoots. Big save there by Hoffman on the low shot. And he records the ground ball. And here come the Valiants down the field, trying to set up the offense for the first time themselves. Caton up top now. Kakavo. He'll enter the zone. Successful clear there for the Valiants. Motherway waiting for some reinforcements entering the game for the first time, Eric Sparby. And now the Valiants trying to get Sparby into the offensive end. They will, as Godo retreats back to the defensive end and now will come off the field for Chris Asen. Little offense-defense substitution for the Valiants. Morrissey able to corral the loose ball. And now looks to reset. 3.5 minutes gone here in this one. Just 2 shots attempted so far. Hoffman, a save on the only shot on goal so far tonight. Murray into the zone, side-winding shot. Nice save there by Barry. Loose ball still not picked up, and now finally Barry will gain control. Green went for the slash. Ball still loose. And the ground ball is going to be picked up by the Bulldogs. Good look there from the right side by Andrew Murray, but he was denied by Matt Barry, the first shot that he saw here tonight. And again, the Bulldogs will just walk this one up and slowly work it up the field. Jake Zito gets it into the offensive end. Harmon with it behind the net, now swings it back and playing catch with a teammate. Harmon now going to his right, finds a cutter into the zone. Shot attempt, bouncing shot, saved again by Hoffman. It was Brian Weber on the shot attempt. Ground ball scooped up by Caton, and he finds Hoffman, and the Vines look to set up the clear. Hoffman works this one up midfield. Gives it up now and into the zone. Across midfield comes Hahn, and a stoppage and a turnover. And now Vines need to get back quickly. Hoffman was out of the cage, but it doesn't matter as DeSales was unable to get to the starting spot, so called back, and Vines able to set up the defense, but it doesn't matter. Quickly into the zone comes Justin Wilson. And the team leader in scoring gets the first goal of the evening. Low shot, 5-hole against Hoffman. And DeSales takes a 1-0 advantage here just over 5 minutes into the game. Like we said, it was going to be a possession battle tonight. It's going to be the story of who's able to get successful clears from the defensive end, a turnover there by the Valiants, and it led to an opportunity quickly in transition for DeSales, and they took full advantage. Wilson, his 19th goal of the season, and now DeSales wins their second faceoff in a row, and they look to quickly set up once again. Murray trying to put the pressure on, but McNamara able to get it into the offensive end. Gives it up to Wilson. Now down low to Harmon. I mentioned DeSales likes to work from that right wing. McNamara coming off the field now, trying to get their attackers on the field. That last shot from Wilson coming from the right side, working his way into the zone, and he was wide open on the transition opportunity. Something we know that this coaching staff from Manhattanville talked to the team about all week in preparation for this game, defending that right side. Now a shot from the left side. Hoffman saw it all the way and corrals that one. A shot attempt coming from Justin Monahan. Caton upfield, up to Motherway across midfield, and he'll try to take this one himself. Has his stick knocked away. That turnover going to be caused by Frank Krug, the nation's leader in caused turnovers, showing why early on. DeSales quickly back into the offensive end, and they will set up the attack. Krug, the long pole defender, able to cut off Motherway nicely and use his reach there to his advantage. A great stick check. Actually knocked the stick out of Motherway's hands. And the ball came loose. Another teammate right there to grab the ground ball. And now it's DeSales on the offensive end nearly the entire time so far. Murray the only opportunity for Manhattanville on the offensive end, as it's been all Bulldogs here in the first 7 minutes. Up top, Magro, swing pass. Up top, Monahan. Wilson going to work. Thought about the shot. Gives it back to Monahan, and Monahan floating pass goes well over the head of Tyler Newman, and that one goes out of play. Possession back to Manhattanville. Caton working his way upfield. Marked just before the midfield line there by Josh Harmon. And now a long pass downfield looking in the direction of Will Duvall. That one off the mark, and another turnover on a clear attempt for Manhattanville here early on. Not exactly the start you want if you're head coach Ryder Bolander. Manhattanville just 1 for 5 on clear so far in the early goings. DeSales 3 for 3. Bulldogs clearly winning the possession battle here in the first quarter. Friedman circling around to the right side, gives it up now to Wilson. Behind the cage, Harmon looking for some help, gets it up top, swing pass over to Pryor. Back down low, Harmon. Guarded behind the cage there by Connor Keogh. Another freshman that's made a big impact on the defensive end for Manhattanville here this season. Bulldogs, like we said, very meticulous on the offensive end. They will not rush any possession they have. Again, holding this ball on the offensive end for over a minute now. Looking for a shot. Wilson thought about it. Now gives it back up to the top of the zone. And Jake McNamara will just slow things down. Friedman down low. Now swing pass over to Harmon. Harmon working on Hahn. Gets it down into the zone. Now another pass thrown away. Battle for it at midfield. A nice stick check there by Tristan Green. And an offside is going to be called against DeSales, and possession will go to Manhattanville. And a timeout Taken by Manhattanville, they're going to try to set up this offensive opportunity. Head coach Ryder Bolander, as we said, knowing how important each possession is and trying to find a response here to the early DeSales goal. 1-0, 5:51 to play. We'll take a quick timeout with them. This is Manhattanville Men's Lacrosse on the GoValiants TV network. .549 remaining in the first quarter. Manhattanville possession out of a timeout. We mentioned Manhattanville, one of the best shooting teams in the conference. First in the conference in shooting percentage, 34%. The only team above 30% in the MAC Freedom so far this year. DeSales, 23% on their shot attempts, fifth in the conference. And the Valiants, second most goals scored among the teams that have played 9 games so far this season. Like we said, the offense has gotten a big boost so far this year from a couple freshmen and Andrew Murray back and healthy after suffering that leg injury last season. And as we mentioned, a couple of these players from both teams, as there's Krug once again from behind, causing another turnover. And Krug looking to get the ground ball, and he does. Second caused turnover of the night for Krug. Speaking of the leaders. And now a battle for the ball, and it will remain Bulldog possession. Bulldogs with 2 conference statistical leaders here on their squad this season. Josh Harmon first in the conference in assists per game, 2.5 assists per contest. And Krug, as we said, obviously the conference leader in caused turnovers, the nation leader in caused turnovers at almost 4.5 per game. On the offensive side, Andrew Murray 7th in the conference in goals per game with just over 2. Justin Wilson 10th for DeSales. And Will Duvall and Colin Morrissey also in the top 20 for Manhattanville. In points per game, Josh Harmon 7th in the conference at 3.1 per game. And Andrew Murray and Will Duvall 9th and 10th. TJ Kakavo also in the top 20. Justin Wilson is in there as well for the Bulldogs. And now the Valiants will look to set up another opportunity here on the offensive end, trying to capitalize. Just 1 shot on goal as we're over 10.5 minutes here into the first quarter. Now behind the net, Green. Up top, shot attempt, Murray, he shoots and scores! Murray from Green makes it a tie game here, 1-1. And Murray shows why he's the top offensive weapon for Manhattanville. A nice rocket from the left wing, beating Matt Berry high on the shoulder. Far post. And the Valiants switching it up here on the ensuing faceoff. As I believe it's Jake Caton taking the draw for the Valiants. Going up against McNamara. Trying to get Andrew Murray involved in offense as soon as possible. McNamara, however, comes away with his 3rd win of the night, but immediately has the ball knocked away. Trying to get to it are the Valiants, unable to. Ramos with it for the Bulldogs. Now DeSales sets up the offense. McNamara coming off very slowly to the sideline. We'll keep an eye on that. The face-off specialist for the Bulldogs. Ever so important in a game like this where each possession matters. He is in some obvious pain on the sideline, so like I said, we will keep an eye on him on the next faceoff, see if he is back out there for the Bulldogs. But for now, it's DeSales setting up the offense. Tie game 1-1 late here in the first quarter. Looking into the zone now from a tough angle. Shot attempt by Magro. Well off the mark. That one goes into the field hockey cage in the far corner of GoValiants.com field. And possession will remain with the Bulldogs. Circling around up top, Weber. Swing pass to the left wing. Now they'll work it back right. Wilson. Now back behind the cage. Harmon up top. Trying to work into the zone with Weber. Pulls it back out. Now Newman. Back across to Monahan. Looking for help. Over to the right wing. Shot attempt coming. That one bounces wide. Coming off the stick of Brian Weber. DeSales the first one to that one, though. Retain possession again. Harmon now. Behind the net. Monahan up top. Swings it around. Weber again, top of the zone. Over to Wilson. Wilson thought about the shot. Instead, gives it behind. Harmon up top. Wilson thought about the shot. Cut off nicely by Kakavo. And his bouncing shot goes wide. And again, DeSales the first one to the sideline. They'll keep possession as Eric Magro with a nice hustle play for the Bulldogs. Closing in on the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. 1-1 the score. Like we said, DeSales not looking for a high-scoring game. They like to play slow. They like to play efficient. Manhattanville likes to run the tempo a little bit. They definitely score more goals per game, over 10 goals per game for Manhattanville this season. So far, this game has definitely been in favor of DeSales. Giants looking for a big stop here late in the quarter. Newman, marked by Kakavo. Now into the zone. A lot of action there in front, and this one gets knocked away, and it will stay with DeSales. Newman up top. Monahan over. Weber continues this one around. And again, Bulldogs showing that counterclockwise rotation around the outside of the zone. Weber will now attack. Taking on Asen. Gives it up behind. Up top, Harmon. Harmon marked by Kakavo. Looking for some help. Switches back to the right. Passes out and back to Newman. Unable to handle it, but Newman right there for the ground ball. Final minute left in the first quarter. We remain tied 1-1. Trying to change that was Magro. Bouncing shot. That one goes high. And again, DeSales will get there first, and they will keep possession. .45 seconds to go in the first quarter. That pass off the mark. Another battle at the midfield line. And again, DeSales is offside, so Manhattanville with a chance to take the lead here in the final 40 seconds of the first quarter. Green gets possession, gives it up to Caton, who will gives it over to Kakavo. Kakavo unable to handle it. Krug trying to get there. And instead, it's going to be picked up by Morrissey with 30 seconds to play. Duvall looking, finds Morrissey. 20 seconds to go in the quarter. Viants will set up for one solid look on the cage. Murray brings it into the zone with some speed. Going to his right, looking for a cutter, nobody home. 10 seconds to go. Murray circles around, gives up to Kakavo. He'll try to do it himself, loses his footing, and this one's going to be on the ground and slipped away. One last shot attempt goes well wide. Desperation shot on the way from DeSales, and we are tied 1-1 at the end of the first 15 minutes of action here from Purchase. Second quarter action coming up here in just a moment. We'll take a break from the action. This is Manhattanville Men's Lacrosse on the GoValiants TV network. 1-1 to score after the first 15 minutes of action. It was all DeSales in the first quarter, a lot of possession for the Bulldogs. 10 shots attempted by the Bulldogs, just 2 for Manhattanville. Zach Hoffman, 3 saves on 4 shots on goal for the Valiants. Matt Berry stopping 1 of the 2 shots on goal for the Bulldogs. DeSales a perfect 5 for 5 with clear attempts. Manhattanville struggling a bit, 2 of 6. And DeSales has all 3 face-off wins, trying to go 4 for 4 here to start the second quarter. Murray looking for a response, but again, McNamara coming away with the initial possession. But a foul called against the Bulldogs, and it's going to go to Manhattanville. They will pick up right where they left off at the end of the first quarter with possession in the offensive end. You got to imagine, as we said, pace of play here in this one's got to be favoring the Bulldogs. Head coach Matt Brancaccio got to be happy with this one. Brancaccio been around the action at DeSales for quite a while. A 4-year member of the lacrosse team at DeSales, graduated in 2009, was an assistant coach at DeSales for 2 years before becoming the head coach 3 years ago. Brancaccio, 2-time all-conference player, second all-time in games played with 63, and 4th in career goals at DeSales with 80. Taking over at the helm at his alma mater, as we said, back in 2014. Reigning head coach of the year. Looking to lead the Bulldogs to another successful season, and that's going to help right there as that shot attempt from John Ramos finds the back of the net. And the Bulldogs jump back on top 2-1. Josh Harmon picking up an assist on the play. As we said, Harmon, the leader in assists for DeSales this season. Valiants able to come away with this face-off. Hahn collects the ground ball and gets it into the offensive end, gives it up to Duvall, and now the Valiants will get their subs onto the field and set up their offensive attack. Valiants getting into their offensive set as they swing this one around, trying to get a good look on cage themselves. Not many coming so far for the Valiants. Just 2 shots on the evening so far. One of them finding the back of the cage, coming off the stick of Andrew Murray. And Cacavo trying to battle there, but he's fought off nicely by Ramos. Cacavo and Sparby playing catch here at the top of the zone. Sparby will now circle left. Trying to go to work against the Bulldogs. Jake Zito trying to match him now behind the net. Swing pass up top, Cacavo now across the senior Tyler Bentrowitz. Cacavo tried to get into the zone again. Fought off by a host of Bulldogs. Throws this one away. Now a battle along the sidelines. Krug tried to scoop it up. No one able to gain possession yet. And now finally the Bulldogs come away with it as Palin picks it up and gets it into the offensive end. Harmon sets up the offense behind the net, guarded by Hahn. Tight pressure coming from Hahn, trying to cut off Bulldogs before they're able to get into an offensive set this time. Cacavo trying to force him out of play, no luck there. And now a shot from a tough angle, and that one goes off the post, and it's going to go to Manhattanville. Not your prototypical DeSales offensive look that time. A bit of a rushed shot from a tough angle. Nobody behind the cage for the Bulldogs there to get to the end line. And Manhattanville now will need to take advantage of these opportunities. Long pass coming up the field from Keogh. He finds Goto, now handoff trying to go to Sparby, and again a failed clear attempt by the Valiants. And here come the Bulldogs quickly in transition. Ramos down to the left sideline. Will now slow things down and circle around. And a timeout going to be taken by the Navy bench as the DeSales Bulldogs up 2-1 here. Just about 4 minutes gone in the second quarter. They'll have possession when we return. A very slow, low-scoring game so far here from GoValiants.com field. Both of these teams trying to set up the optimum offensive look when they have possession in the offensive end. Valiants, the men's lacrosse team, not the only team in action tonight. The women's lacrosse team down in Center Valley taking on DeSales on the road, coming away victorious against the first-year program, 18-5. Valiants were dominant throughout in that one, led by Kat Riley, 5 goals on the offensive end, 3 goals for Jenna Nance, and 3 goals for Christina Leva to lead the way on the road for the Valiants. Women's lacrosse team looking to set a program record for wins as well this year. They are up to 7 wins now on the season. Shot attempt on the way from Wilson, and that one off the mark, guarded nicely by Godo, affecting that shot. Excuse me, the women's lacrosse team up to 8 wins on the year. As like we said, trying to set a program record for most wins in a season. Closing in on that mark. Bulldogs again, trying to get into that offensive look that they like. That pass going on the way to Harmon, unable to handle it. It goes across the sideline. Valiants will take possession. Murray will come off the bench to grab that ball, and he'll start things back up. Cross midfield and into the offensive end. Murray with some space and some speed. A diving attempt from behind, and again, there is Krug. And he has been all over the place so far in this one, showing why he leads the country in caused turnovers. Using that long stick about as well as you can use it. Now across the midfield line, trying to provide some help was Ryan Leonard. Now into the zone comes Motherwhite. Jump shot on the way, bouncing and going high of the cage. Now Duvall racing to the sideline. And he will get there first and keep possession for the Valiants. And now it's the Valiants sideline yelling for the offense to be patient, trying to get into their offensive set. Leonard into the zone. Gets by a defender, switches to the left hand, and again knocked away by Krug. Bulldogs keep possession, and that should be the 3rd caused turnover of the half for Frank Krug. He had 7 twice in a game this season. 7 caused turnovers against Gwynn and Mercy and 7 against Centenary. On his way to matching that season high. In fact, a career high for the freshman. Already 3 here tonight. Valiants able to get this one back though. Duvall into the zone looking for help. Unable to get a quick look in transition. And now Motherway will wait for reinforcements and now set it up to the point guard, Andrew Murray. Murray over to Bencherwitz. Marked high in the zone here by Ramos. Now Motherway. Went for a low shot. That one goes wide. Initially looked like he may be trying to find Green behind the net. The low shot along the turf, that one off the mark. Valiants trying anything they can to get through this DeSales defense right now, who's doing an excellent job in shutting down the high-powered offense. Bencherwitz trying to bully his way into the zone, trying to get it back out to the top of the zone to Motherway, but it's turned over. Scooped up by Palin, and Palin will take this one the distance. Now going to work against Asen. Asen knocks it loose. And DeSales is going to be granted a timeout before they lost possession. A great job by Asen trying to get to that one and knock it away. In fact, did knock it away from Palin. But Matt Brancaccio getting the timeout called just in time. And DeSales will keep possession here with 7.5 to go midway through the second period. .736 to play here. Second quarter, just 2-1 to score. Not a lot of offense. If you're an offensive fan, this is not the game to tune into. A very slow-paced game on both ends so far. The DeSales defense has done an excellent job of shutting down the Manhattanville attack, and on the offensive end, we said it multiple times, DeSales does not look to rush anything. One of the more meticulous offenses in the conference. When they go to goal, however, they are effective, as they've shown here tonight. And they try to make it 3, and they do. As Tyler Newman, Eric Magro, the freshman, finds the back of the twine. A high shot over the shoulder there of Zach Hoffman makes it a 3-1 game. Justin Monahan picking up the assist on the play. And now the Valiants find themselves trailing by 2 with 7:05 to play, and Andrew Murray will step back out to the face-off circle to take this draw against McNamara, who appears to be okay after coming off a little bit lame on the sideline a little bit earlier. Got some attention from Manhattanville trainer Scott McIver, and he is back on the field. Valiants have won the last 2 face-offs, however, but this time McNamara comes away victorious and will give DeSales possession and once again off of the face-off, and he will play this one all the way back to Barry. And now Barry will walk this one up the field himself before giving it back up to a defender. And right there was Morrissey trying to cause a turnover. Duvall trying to get to the ground ball, and he does. Manhattanville, big turnover there in the neutral zone. And a big possession here for Manhattanville. Other way, off the sideline, he gets this one from Murray. Trying to quickly enter the zone, jump shot, left-handed shot on the way, Barry the save, and he hangs on. Ramos up the left side. Murray backpedaling to guard him. And now pass, and DeSales will get back into their set offense. Now DeSales thought about going with the same similar look. Tommy Friedman entering the zone from midfield. Tried to get him the ball on the run, but was matched nicely by a Valiant defender, unable to get him the ball. Wilson, that pass knocked away by Asen. Ball loose on the ground, and it's going to be Soya Goto coming away with the ground ball. Nice play defensively by Chris Asen. Just sticking that long pole out and getting in the passing lane. And now Motherway on that pass. The head of his stick came loose. And I believe we're going to have a timeout coming from Manhattanville. No timeout's going to be caused. They are going to stop it for the equipment malfunction from Hoffman. And he will come over and grab the backup stick from the bench. And back in play is something you don't see very often. There's no contact on the play. Hoffman just trying to make a pass upfield, and the head of the stick went flying. So Motherway grabs the second stick from the bench. We're ready to go. Once again, Sparby with the ball. He'll enter the offensive end. And now kick it right back up top over to Kakavo, and now swing past to Bencherwitz. Bencherwitz, the first team all-conference player last season, likes to just use his size and bowl his way in towards the crease and get some close looks on goal. Hasn't been effective here tonight so far. Now Duvall. Now behind the net, Green. Green marked by Zito. Trying to go to work, gets it up top to Bencherwitz. Over to Kakavo. Giants trying to keep possession here without Andrew Murray in the offensive end, and that shot attempt is going to be blocked, and the ground ball goes to Krug. Deflected on the pass back to Barry, but right to another Bulldog defender as Tyle Davis snags that one, and now the Bulldogs will set up the clear attempt. Barry, a long pass upfield going to the sideline and connecting to Monahan, and he enters his own. Magro behind the net. Finds a streaking attacker down the sideline. Now DeSales will slow it down. Monahan over to Wilson. Behind the net to Magro, and again, just circling this one along the outside of the offensive zone. Magro behind the net. Now Bulldogs trying to set things up. Now they change directions. Harmon, the offensive catalyst, gets it back to Magro. Up top, Monahan, guarded by Kakavo, and shoved backwards. Newman now top of the zone, over to Wilson. Wilson, nice stick check there by Goto. And that pass off the mark, off the helmet of Newman. Ball loose on the ground. Asen trying to get there. Trying to use the long pole to his advantage, and a couple players go to the turf. And we're going to have a push call against Manhattanville. And Bulldogs will keep possession. Wilson open on the right side. That one goes flying off of KO. That one well off the mark, going about 100 yards past the net. But the Bulldogs again keep possession with Magro back there near the end line. Thought about the shot there was Harmon, and another pass goes to the turf. As DeSales has not exactly looked crisp with these swing passes so far early on. A couple of them off the mark. A couple times players just trying to go to the next pass before they catch the first one. It's allowed Manhattanville to get a couple turnovers, but Giants have done nothing with it so far. Still 3-1 to score, closing in on 2 minutes remaining in the half. Now that shot goes high. That one coming from Weber, and again, Magro's there, and he will keep possession. Pass into the zone. Again, this one off the mark and scooped up. Caton now quickly trying to clear the zone. Caton using his speed down the left sideline, burns past Brian Weber and into the offensive end. And we're going to get a timeout coming from Manhattanville. Again, trying to set up the offensive look here late in the half, trying to get at least one goal back and trying to make it a one-goal game heading into halftime. 3-1 the score, 1:48 to play. This is Manhattanville Men's Lacrosse on the GoValiants TV network. .148 to go in the half. Manhattanville down by 2, a very low-scoring game so far here from GoValiants.com field. Just 4 goals so far between these two squads. Combined 21 shots attempted so far. 10 of them finding the target. A little bit of confusion as a small equipment malfunction here. It's the game clock on the scoreboard on the east side of the field. Skipped a couple of digits there on the countdown. Umpire trying to stop play, make sure the clock was started, and we're all set to go. Morrissey going to work behind the net, gets it back up to Murray. Murray against Krug, a matchup that head coach Ryder Bolander wanted to exploit tonight. Murray left-handed shot. That one may have been deflected, and it will stay with the Valiants. Bolander not happy with the contact on that last play. Now Motherway against Ramos. 1 minute to go in the half. Green behind the net looking for help. Guarded by Palin. Palin knocks it away, and Palin scoops up the ground ball. Already the 6th caused turnover of the game for DeSales. And it's been the long pulls that have made a huge impact on the defensive end. And now check in midfield, Motherway putting it on Ramos. And Motherway grabs the ground ball with 30 seconds to play in the half. Valiants trying to set up. Murray on from the sideline. Bentrance will join him for the final attack. 15 to go on the clock. Murray patiently waiting. It's going to be one-on-one with Krug. Murray going left. Trying to fire that one. Not sure if he was going for the shot or if he was trying to get it to Morrissey. But either way, it was off the mark and possession to DeSales, and that should just about do it for the first half. DeSales will let one last shot fly at the buzzer from the length of the field. And that one goes wide, and we will head to halftime with Manhattanville trailing 3-1. A low-scoring first half here from Purchase, something that DeSales definitely wants to keep in their favor. Ten minutes up on the halftime clock. We will be back in just a few moments to bring you your first half stats and bring you the second half of action here from GoValiants.com field. Manhattanville looking to move to 2-1 in conference play this season, trying to come from behind to take down the Bulldogs. This is Manhattanville Men's Lacrosse on the GoValiants TV network. 3-1 the score here at the halftime break from GoValiants.com field on the campus of Manhattanville College. Valiants find themselves trailing in a Big Mac Freedom contest here tonight. Very low scoring, a score we almost never see here on GoValiants.com field. As we mentioned so many times, the Valiants like to go on the offensive attack. DeSales much more slow-paced on the offensive end, and they have controlled the pace of this contest so far. Taking a look at the stats here from the first half. 3-1 the score, 16-7 in favor of DeSales in the shot category. 21 ground balls for DeSales to just 12 for Manhattanville. Zach Hoffman, 4 saves for the Valiants, 2 saves for Matt Berry for the Bulldogs. From the defensive end, DeSales 9 of 12 on their clear attempts. Manhattanville just 50%, 5 of 10. And in the faceoff circle, it's been all Jake McNamara, 5 or 6 for the Bulldogs. Manhattanville just 1 faceoff win so far tonight. Pretty even in the turnover category. 13 turnovers for Manhattanville, 12 for DeSales. But 6 caused turnovers from the Bulldogs, 3 for the Valiants, 4 of them coming from the nation's leader in Frank Krug, almost matching his season average already in the first half, as he averages 4.5 a game. Just 1 more to surpass that average so far this year. His season high, 7 caused turnovers. He did it twice against Gwynn and Mercy and Centenary. DeSales in the first half got goals from 3 different players, as it was John Ramos, Eric Magro, and Justin Wilson scoring for the Bulldogs. The assists going to Josh Harmon and Justin Monahan. Manhattanville got the lone goal from Andrew Murray and the assist to Tristan Green, and we are just about set to go in the second half of action here. Face-off loose ball on the turf. Still loose. Manhattanville trying to get to it. Poked away, and it goes right to a Bulldog midfielder. And off to the races goes Ramos into the offensive end. And now the Bulldogs will again get into that offensive set where they like to work the ball around looking for an open slot. Harmon up top gets it to Weber. Weber now circles around, quickly slings it across to the right wing. Now Weber from the top of the zone tried to get past Godo. Now slows things down, gets it across to the wing, back across behind to Macro. Harmon going to work on Kakavo. Gives it back up to Monahan, and again the long pull coming into play as Sawyer Godo gets in the passing lane and takes it away. And Godo all the way into the offensive end, tried to get it to Green and immediately taken away by the Bulldogs, but ball on the ground and the Valiants kept possession momentarily. And a big timeout call there from Ryder Bolander, and the Valiants were able to keep possession as he was swarmed by a host of Bulldogs there, but Morrissey a big ground ball for Manhattanville. And they will have possession out of the timeout just over 1 minute into this second half. 13:40 to play. And we'll see what Ryder Bolander is able to draw up. We'll see what, Shane Wilson actually taking charge of the offense here. Wilson, a very good attacker down in Coker College, down south, coming to Manhattanville for his first season with the Valiants. So it's going to be Wilson and Schneidman setting up the offensive attack. Ryder Bolander, a defender from Maryland and a very good defender for the Terps during his playing time. He will take charge of the defense out of this timeout. So we'll see what Wilson's able to draw up for Manhattanville here out of the timeout. Lots of winning minds on this mindset for Manhattanville. As we said, Ryder Bolander, a defender for the Maryland Terps. Went to the national championship a few times. Justin Schneidman, a national champion at SUNY Cortland during his playing career. Giants out of the timeout, trying to keep possession at the top of the zone, and now Sparby goes to work, trying to get past Zito. And Jake Zito making life difficult, gets it up to Duvall. Duvall trying to do it himself. Switches directions, gives it over to Morrissey. Morrissey can't get past him, as it was Carney putting the pressure on. Now Murray against Krug, gets by, fires a shot, that one blocked in front. And it's going to be picked up by Krug. Bulldogs looking to set up the clear. A long pass upfield, Ramos wide open, able to quickly get that one into the offensive end. Bulldogs setting up the attack once again. And again, in absolutely no rush here, up by 2 goals. Brian Weber, top of the offensive end. Now behind the cage, and it gets swung back around to Monahan. Bulldogs working in around the zone, changing directions now over to Friedman. And back to Monahan, trying to circle to his right. And now back across again, intercepted this time. Chris Asen, the long pole getting in the way. Sloppy passing from the Bulldogs all night tonight. Valiants just unable to take advantage so far. As Kakavo comes into the end, and Krug went for the steal. It's bouncing shot on the way. Kakavo can't get past that one past Barry. A nice save there by the sophomore. And the ball's loose and scooped up by the Bulldogs. Ground ball to Palin, and he's bothered immediately. Caton trying to take that one away, but Palin able to get it back to Barry. And now Barry, another long pass up the field to a wide open teammate, and into the zone comes Brian Weber. Bulldogs circle it around. Entering the offensive end was Pryor. He'll join the offensive attack. And now the Bulldogs will get McNamara into the action, as Weber will head to the sideline. Just about 4.5 minutes gone here. No scoring so far in the second half. Great opportunity for Manhattanville on their last possession, but it was Matt Berry coming up with a big save. Hasn't seen a lot of action tonight, but a big stop in the crease keeps it a 2-goal game. Bouncing past Wilson, able to knock it down and scoop it up. Now going to work against Kakavo, going right, pass it into the circle, wide open, and over the top goes Magro. Hoffman, nothing he could do there as he bit on the first shot fake. And Magro going high and bouncing that one into the cage. And it's now a 3-goal game, 4-1 advantage of DeSales. I know we've mentioned it a bunch of times, a very slow-paced game, not necessarily the case last year. As we said, DeSales put up 18 goals on Manhattanville on the home field. Much different story here tonight. Just 5 goals through the first 35 minutes of game action here tonight. And another ground ball goes to DeSales, and a huge hit in midfield as Frank Krug gets sent to the turf. Great legal shoulder check there by the Valiants. And that might send a message to this Valiant squad, try to get something going in their favor. That was the most excitement we've seen from the bench since Murray found the back of the net in the first quarter. Now a loose ball and a foul called against Manhattanville. Bulldogs will keep possession. Weber gets this one behind. Harmon gets it back up top. Freeman swings it along. Into the zone. Goes Weber, unable to get anything going. He pulls it back out, finds Friedman. Back across to Monahan, bouncing pass, able to knock it down. Leonard was unable to get there. Now across the zone, looking for Wilson, again off the mark. Scooped up by the Valiants. Asen gets it up the field to Leonard, and the Valiants will successfully clear this one. Quick pass down low, unable to get anything going. Goto, the long stick shot, he shoots and scores! Soya Goto, the shortest player on the roster, the longest pole on the field, and he finds the back of the net. A great look for Soya Goto. And he cuts this deficit in half, 4-2. And we'll see if Manhattanville can ride some of this momentum here. The big check, the turnover, and the goal in transition. Probably the best minute and a half that they've had all game. Andrew Murray going up against McNamara here for the faceoff. Big possession coming off this faceoff. We'll see if DeSales wins it, if they're able to answer, if Manhattanville wins it, if they're able to keep things going in their favor. McNamara comes away with the win, scoops up the ground ball quickly into the offensive end. He shoots, and that one goes wide. Bulldogs quickly want to get going once again. Something we haven't seen very often from them tonight. And now they will slow things down. Pryor gets it over to Newman. Circling around, Bollard along the cage. And it's Kelvis unable to get the ball away. Now Pryor gets this one back up top to Newman. Looking for some help. Murray was right there expecting that pass across the field. Guys maybe slowly picking up on this Bulldog attack. Nice handoff from the defensive end there. Newman now going left. Asen marking him now up top. Keogh guarding Pryor. Pryor unable to get anything going. Now Wilson on the right wing. Wilson into the zone. Left-hand shot. That one bounces wide. Magro there on the end line. He'll keep possession for DeSales. Quickly into the center of that attack and now pulls it back out. Harmon behind the cage. Bothered by Kelvis. Trying to get a stick check to draw it loose. That shot on the way from Pryor goes high and wide. And out of play. Possession goes to DeSales. Newman right there on the end line to start play. Tempo has picked up just a bit here in the second half as DeSales came out a couple shot attempts there in their first possession. Finally was able to get one by from Magro. Now a shot on the way from Pryor. Big save initially by Hoffman, but it trickles across the line. And DeSales goes back up by 3, and again, like we said, the tempo picking up a little bit here. Manhattanville got the goal in transition off the ensuing faceoff. McNamara let a shot fly immediately. And now a couple shot attempts quickly in that last possession, and already 3 goals here in the second half in the opening 8.5 minutes of action. Yeah, just 4 goals in the first half total, so we'll see if Manhattanville's able to get a couple possessions here and try to string together some offensive chances. The faster this game goes, the more you got to imagine it's in Manhattanville's favor. Goto able to win that faceoff. Caton grabs the ground ball. Crew trying to use that long pole to force it away, but Caton able to keep possession nicely, gets it to Leonard. And now the Valiants will slow down and get their attackers on the field. Murray off the bench over to Motherway. That one nearly sailed high. Motherway, a nice job corralling the high pass. Now Leonard Going down the right wing, gives it up to Morrissey. Swing pass around to Duvall, changing directions. Trying to use the pick from Morrissey, but a nice handoff behind the cage. Leonard thought about the shot from distance. Now gets it down low to Duvall, over to Morrissey. Morrissey trying to fight against against Carney. A shot and a nice save by Barry. Carney gets this one upfield to Weber. Weber gets this one across. DeSales another successful clear, and they set up in that offensive set. We talked about the big turnaround year this DeSales team had last year, 6-1. And they dismantled Manhattanville on the home field. You gotta imagine those home fields have got to be a huge recruiting tool for head coach Matt Brancaccio as of late. DeSales pushing a lot of money into athletics down in Center Valley. Beautiful new turf practice and game facility, as that shot's going to be saved nicely by Hoffman, and the ground ball will go to Manhattanville. DeSales a nice new turf game field for their lacrosse teams and field hockey. Turf practice field. Brand new track being put in as well on the campus, and soon we'll have a brand new baseball and softball stadium as well. So a complete makeover for DeSales Athletics down in Center Valley. Like we said, got to be a huge recruiting tool for every head coach down there. DeSales finally moving away from playing on natural grass. Their soccer teams remain on the natural grass field near the University Center. But the rest of the turf sports moving to the brand new facility. So that shot attempt goes wide, ground ball picked up by the Bulldogs. Bulldogs not the only ones with some facility upgrades as of late. Manhattanville has been having a lot of success on the new turf here at GoValiants.com field that was installed this past summer. The season was kicked off in the fall as men's and women's soccer and field hockey put the turf to use for the first time. Beautiful new playing surface along with new fencing and seating installed here at GoValiants.com field. Huge facelift to the athletic department as the main playing field got the major upgrade. Bulldogs going to work again. Wilson, a shot, nice save there by Hoffman. A much needed stop for the Valiants, and they look to change directions. Caton across midfield. Gets it up into the offensive end. He finds Morrissey, and now down low Duvall. Duvall guarded in the corner by Davis. Duvall still with possession. Davis trying to make life difficult. Morrissey now. Gets it across the Motherway. Looking towards Sparby. Now finds Sparby. And now the swing pass over to Bencherwitz. Again, the Valiants looking to set up the offense with Andrew Murray on the sideline. A strategy we've seen them use a few times this season. Motherway trying to lower the shoulder here, get into the zone. Gives it up now to Morrissey. Now the senior behind the cage looking for help. Over to Duvall. And now the Valiants will swing it around the zone. Sparby tries to get past Ramos. Now lowers the shoulder, backs in, gives it up to Morrissey. Back up to Green. A little bit of mishandle on the pass. Ball loose on the ground, and it's going to be scooped up by Krug. And he gets past Motherway, and another turnover going in favor of DeSales. And Crew gets it across now. We'll pull it back out and hand it off to Ramos and retreat back to the defensive end. .45 seconds remain here in the third quarter. It's still a 3-goal game. And now that pass goes off the face mask of a Bulldog midfielder. And scooped up by Newman. And you got to imagine DeSales will be holding for the final shot of the quarter here. Pryor with it along the left sideline. Slowly makes his way past the goal line and now behind the cage. .15 seconds to go in the quarter. Cacavo trying to cut him off. Now a shot attempt on the way. That one goes just wide of Magro. Hoffman may have gotten a piece of it. And the Bulldogs will have 8 seconds to get a shot off. A pass to the zone. Hahn, a nice check, but he's going to get called for the game's first penalty. And the Bulldogs will just ride this one out, and they will keep possession to start the fourth quarter. As Hahn is going to get called here. We'll get the call here for you in a second. So Hahn will start on the bench for the first minute of the fourth quarter. A slashing called against the sophomore. Giants will start the quarter man down. DeSales looking to add to their lead. It's a 5-2 game, 15 minutes to go here from GoValiants.com field. .15 minutes to go here from GoValiants.com field. Manhattanville down by 3, looking for a big fourth quarter to come from behind and take a victory away from DeSales. Bulldogs beginning the quarter with possession and with the man advantage. Sam Hahn called for the slash at the end of the quarter. DeSales on the year, man up, 9 of 40, 22.5% efficiency with the extra man in the offensive end. Manhattanville on the opposite end, a 7-14 percentage man down, 15 of 21 opportunities killed off successfully. And they go to work here to begin the quarter. Harmon looking for a cutter, gets it up top. Again, this pass off the mark. And now I believe we're going to have a call going against DeSales. It may be a delay of game call going against Palin for knocking the ball downfield. And it is a delay of game going against DeSales, so that will do it for the man-up opportunity for DeSales. Jack Carney, 30 seconds for delay of game, showing his frustration here as he heads to the penalty area. So DeSales without one of their long poles here on the defensive end for 30 seconds. Manhattanville, a golden opportunity to take advantage and use some momentum to start the quarter. A lot of speed on this Valiant attack. Trying to set things up now. Green behind the cage. Gets it over to Morrissey. Looking for some help. Morrissey lowering the shoulder. Able to keep possession. A couple stick checks being thrown by Austin Collish. Motherway up top. Time just about ready to expire on both penalties, and back on the field comes both squads back to even strength. Murray, bothered by a host of Bulldog players, finds Morrissey. Shot turned away by Barry. Ball still loose on the ground, and we are going to have a call here. And it's going to be a foul against the Bulldogs. Valiants will keep possession. A nice look there by Murray, recognizing that he had 3 defenders on him, knowing that a teammate had to be open. And he found Morrissey, but he was just unable to bury it from point-blank range. Now Murray tries his luck from distance. That one off the mark. You got to imagine the Valiants are going to be starting to fire from anywhere to try to get back in this game, to get it to Green, and he shoots and scores. And there it is, the first goal of the quarter in the comeback trail. As Green takes a pass from Duvall and buries it in the back of the net, and we got ourselves a 2-goal game. Two-goal game. Valiant striking a minute and a half into this one, into the final quarter. And once again, every face-off from here on out going to be extremely important. Valiants will go with Sawyer Godo to take the draw, but McNamara comes away with the win and immediately throws it back to his netminder. Bulldogs will slowly work this one up the field. Obviously in no rush, but again, a long-distance pass on the way from Barry. And they like to go to that pass as he finds McNamara deep in the offensive end. Now Wilson going around the net. Hahn doing a good job marking him. Game definitely not out of reach for Manhattanville at this point. Just a 2-goal game, but they need to get a couple defensive stops here, cause a couple turnovers, and take advantage of any miscues that DeSales has. We've seen a couple sloppy passes from them so far tonight. Just need to take advantage on the offensive end when they get possession. Here's a chance right now as that pass went to the turf, but scooped up nicely by the Bulldogs, and they keep possession. Another pass off the mark. Trying to save that one was Harmon. He kept it in play, but Asen was there to scoop it up, and now gets it across to Hoffman. Big chance coming from Manhattanville. Caton gets it across midfield, trying to get into the zone. Double team coming, and he gets it across to Godo. Successful clear there for the Valiants, and now they look to get the correct personnel on the offensive end. See who the Valiants go to here on the offensive end for a spark. Plenty of different candidates on the field. TJ Kakavo, Will Duvall, and Andrew Murray all out there for Manhattanville. It's Ryan Leonard getting bullied in front. Double team sent him to the turf. Kakavo had it momentarily. Ball still loose on the turf. Leonard trying to poke it away. And eventually, Leonard will be called for the foul. DeSales will keep possession. Bulldogs again in no hurry to get this one on field, to get it to Barry. This time goes for the close pass, gets it to Pryor, and he will just work the ball upfield himself. Gets it into the zone for the clear, and now the Bulldogs will set up. Newman gets it down low. Weber with it, gives it back to Pryor. Now top of the zone, Newman. Again, Bulldogs obviously in no rush. Clock in their favor here as they like to keep possession for as long as possible. We saw them have a 3-2 win earlier this season. A 5-3 game so far here tonight. And we will see as we start going here deeper into the fourth quarter how long the officials will give DeSales before they start to implement a stall warning. You know DeSales is not looking to shoot necessarily in this situation. Wilson will fire one though and skips one into the back of the net. As that one just bounced over the shoulder of Hoffman, and it's back to a 3-goal game, and now DeSales has got to start feeling comfortable. A big momentum goal there for Wilson as Manhattanville had slowly started to turn the tide in their favor. And a big answer there by the senior midfielder, showing why he's a 3-time all-conference player and leads the team in scoring. Second goal of the night for Wilson, his 20th of the season. 6-3 the score, 10:06 to play. Murray going for the slash, trying to get the ground ball, popped it up in the air. Ball still loose. Eventually picked up by Duvall. Duvall sent to the turf and lost the ball, no call. And the Bulldogs will take over possession as that ground ball scooped up by Tyle Davis. Long pass upfield. Murray didn't know it was coming, had a man there. Ramos able to catch that one and gets it into the offensive end. And now we've got a timeout called by the Bulldog bench. Up by 3 with 9.5 to play. DeSales will have possession in the offensive end when we return. (6-3) the score here, 9.5 minutes to go. DeSales possession coming out of a timeout. Valiants in jeopardy of having their lowest goal output of the season. Least amount of goals they have scored this season came in their last contest when they scored 6 against Misericordia. Shut out in the second half of that one. Only 3 goals here tonight as we are over 50 minutes into this contest. And like we said, a big conference game here. You want to get momentum back on your side. The Valiants, they won their first conference game of the season, and then a tough loss last weekend to Misericordia, as we said. Shut out in the second half. They had the lead at halftime and ended up falling by 7 goals, 13-6. So trying to get their confidence back up. The squad has the chance to do something special this season, trying to reach the postseason for the first time in program history since joining the MAC. And it all starts right here with a couple of big possessions as that shot goes wide, as that one came from Monahan, and possession will go to the Valiants. This game even more important, especially from a confidence standpoint for Manhattanville. If you fall to 1-2, you fall below 500, and their next contest is on the road at 5-time defending conference champion Eastern University. So a very tough matchup coming on the road in their next game. You do not want to fall to 1-3 and have to win your last 3 games to get back above 500, which is essentially what is going to be needed to reach the postseason. Not often do you see a team go 3-4 and reach the playoffs. So a very big game here tonight, trying to go to 2-1 in conference play. Tough game against Eastern, but then wrapping up conference play against Wilkes and FDU Florham. And then finally wrapping up the season on the road at King's College down in Pennsylvania. Timeout called by Manhattanville, 8:42 to play. And we've got a penalty coming up on DeSales. 30-second penalty going against Frank Krug. So another big chance for Manhattanville here, a man-up opportunity. The first true man-up opportunity that they've had tonight. They had 1 second of the extra attacker a few moments ago when we had a penalty to Sam Hahn. And then the delay of game call against Jack Carney. Manhattanville man up this season, 35%, 12 of 34, scoring with the man up situation. DeSales, best in the conference man down defense, 89% a successful rate of killing off the man down opportunities, 27 of 31, just 4 goals conceded when down a man so far this season. Valiants trying to give them their 5th conceded goal right here. Sparby gets this one across. Duvall now over to Motherway. Morrissey, some quick ball movement, trying to get the Bulldogs out of position. Up top to Murray, over to Sparby, thought about the shot. 5 seconds to go on the man-up opportunity. And the teams are back to even. Motherway gets it over to Motherway. Now the Valiants will get into their normal offensive set. Sparby down low now. Duvall has it. Guarded by Jake Zito. Murray will try to go to work. Goes to the left side. Swings one across. That one goes just in front of the cage. And off the pylon in the far corner, it will go to Will Duvall. He will start possession up once again. Valiants will keep possession. Closing in on the halfway point of this final period. Valiants trail by 3. They need to get something going quickly. With the pace that DeSales likes to play in, if you do not get a couple stops and score on every chance you get, you will not have time to come back in this one. And that pass thrown over the head of Morrissey, and it's going to go out of play, and that's the last thing that the Valiants needed at this point. Ramos works this one up the field himself. Now slows things down, tries to get it across to a midfielder, and now gets it to Weber and quickly up to Wilson. Wilson works inside, sees that his man went down, and he likes to just slow things down. Monahan will swing it across and now get it right back. Up top, it's Newman. Now Monahan trying to work against Caton. Coming from behind was Hahn. Brought down a long pole and a violation going against DeSales. It's going to go to the Valiants. Great play there by Sam Hahn, coming from behind and forcing the turnover. Again, every possession on the offensive end is so critical right now for Manhattanville. Got to get something going in a hurry. Morrissey's got Murray with him. Murray on the fly. Guarded by Krug. Krug tries to go for the steal. Instead, the bounce pass is going to be stopped. Morrissey, the ground ball, he shoots and scores. Huge goal from Manhattanville. Morrissey finds the back of the net. It's a 2-goal game. Morrissey, his 14th of the season, and the 4th different goal scorer for Manhattanville in this one. Exactly what Manhattanville needed, exactly what they probably drew up out of the timeout. Get the ball and get it upfield and start ripping some shots on goal. Make Barry win the game for DeSales if you're the Valiants. Big face-off coming with 6:01 to play. Goto going for the swipe, but instead McNamara coming away with it. Gets it into the offensive end and throws it nearly away, but Kakavo was unable to get there in time as that ball bounced over and found Magro. Again, it's going to be a team defensive effort here from now on out. You're going to need some more big plays like the one from Hahn in the last possession. It's going to take some clean stick checks and some physical play on the defensive end if you want to get the ball away from DeSales here. 5:20 to play, down by 2. Cutting into the zone, that one again thrown away as Friedman had a step on the defense and looked to be able to get into the right in front of the goal, but off the mark. And a great job by Justin Wilson of somehow keeping that one in play just in front of the press box here. And the Bulldogs with nearly a costly turnover, but instead keep possession. Friedman circles around, tries to take on Caton, now goes behind the cage. And again, thrown away by the Bulldogs. This one goes into the stands on the far side of the field. It'll be Valiant possession. That has been the Achilles heel all night for DeSales. This game would not be as close as it is if they do not throw the ball away as many times as they have. Taking a look here at the stats for tonight's game, DeSales has 20 turnovers. Manhattanville has caused just 7 of them. 13 unforced turnovers for the Bulldogs, and now one nearly coming from Manhattanville, but Leonard coming into the offensive end just in time. And he will scoop up the pass that sailed over the cutting Valiant. Now Leonard gets it to Murray. Still plenty of time. Don't need to completely rush, but you do need to start getting some balls on net as soon as you have an open opportunity. Motherway working on the right wing. Now swings it back across to Murray. Murray, top of the zone, takes on Krug, goes to the left hand, stops, changes directions, has the double team coming, gives it to Leonard. Now cutting in front, it was Duvall, and Duvall couldn't handle that pass. It goes back to the Bulldogs. And a great catch there by Krug, using the long pole to his advantage. As again, nearly a costly turnover, and we're going to have a penalty coming against the Valiants. And a shot attempt, and the DeSales Bulldogs add to their lead. It's back to a 3-goal game. Eric Magro, a bullet to the top corner. And it might not be the nail in the coffin yet, but it's half closed now. As the penalty against the Valiants is wiped out by the goal by Magro. And it's now a 3-goal game with 3.5 to play. Magro, his 14th goal of the season. And his 3rd goal here tonight to lead the Bulldogs. 2 Bulldogs with 3 points on the night, 3 for Magro, and 3 points on 2 goals and an assist for Justin Wilson. This time the faceoff's won by Godot, exactly what Manhattanville needed, and we're going to have a penalty coming up against DeSales. A free possession here for Manhattanville. Cutting in front. Morrissey couldn't get the shot off in time, had it knocked away. It would have been a turnover caused by Krug, but instead, Manhattanville will keep possession because of the penalty. And it may be going against Krug. We'll get the call here in a second. The call is actually going to go against Jake McNamara, an illegal slash off of the faceoff. So Krug will stay on the field. Came to the sideline for just a brief moment. A 1-minute man-up opportunity for Manhattanville. A huge possession coming up. Down by 3, and you've got the extra attacker on the field with 3 minutes to play. Again, you do not want to rush the possession, but you want to get a clean look as soon as possible. Motherway, bothered immediately by Tyle Davis. Gets it back to Sparby. Back over to Motherway. Thought about going down low, keeps it himself. Now circles behind, looks for a teammate. Back up to Morrissey, low shot, that one's blocked. Morrissey will race to the corner to keep possession for Manhattanville. 15 seconds to go on the man-up opportunity, and that pass goes high. Murray will scoot over to get that one for Manhattanville. 5 seconds to go on the penalty to McNamara. Murray whips one from the left wing. That one goes wide, and it's going to go back to DeSales. As Matt Berry raced out of the crease to get to the end line first. Great heads-up play there by the sophomore goaltender. And now the Valiants need to make something happen on the defensive end. Under 2 minutes to go. Nearly got a turnover there as Godo went for the interception, but Ramos came away with it. And DeSales will take a timeout here with 1:41 to play. They will have possession when we resume, up by 3 and trying to close out Manhattanville here on the road. 7-4 the score. This is Manhattanville Men's Lacrosse on the GoValiants TV network. We apologize for the internet there. We're back up and running here. Final minute to play to go from GoValiants.com field. DeSales adding a goal to their lead. It's now 8-4, and they have possession, and they will just try to control this one until the final buzzer. A big win for DeSales, as they will move to 2-1 in conference play this season. The Valiants, they've got some work cut out for them now, as they will fall to 1-2 on the year and take on 5-time defending conference champion Eastern University in their next contest on the road. And they will look to avoid going 1-3 when they take on the Eagles in that contest. 8-4 the final score from GoValiants.com field. The Bulldogs coming away victorious against the Valiants here tonight. Take a look at the final stats from this one. It was Magro with 3 goals for the Bulldogs in this one. Wilson with 2 goals. Ramos, Pryor, and Harmon all with a goal. Harmon, the final tally coming for DeSales during that short outage. 3 points on the night for Magro, Wilson, and Harmon. Harmon adding 2 assists to lead the way. Also assists going to Newman, Monahan, and Wilson. For Manhattanville, they got a goal from 4 different players: Tristan Green, Soya Godo, Andrew Murray, and Colin Morrissey, all finding the back of the net. Green with 2 assists for 3 points, and Will Duvall, the other assist for the Valiants. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast that it was going to be a possession battle, and DeSales definitely controlled and won that battle here tonight. 31 shots compared to just 19 for Manhattanville. 38 ground balls, 23 for the Valiants. And DeSales an impressive 21 of 24 on clear attempts, while Manhattanville 13 of 19. And the Bulldogs 10 of 15 in the faceoff circle. At even 21 turnovers for both teams, 11 caused turnovers for DeSales, 8 for Manhattanville. And the biggest player on the defensive end for DeSales tonight, Frank Krug, 5 turnovers, trying to stay in sole possession of the nation, the nation's leader in that category. Averages 4.5 a game. He got 5 here tonight. And the Bulldogs come away with the big win, 8-4. Valiants will be back in action, as we said, on the road at Eastern against the Eagles on April 19th. They will be back here at GoValiants.com field April 22nd when they take on Wilkes University. We will have the broadcast for you right here on the GoValiants TV network. Final score here tonight, 8-4. Valiants falling to DeSales in conference action on the home turf. Until next time, this is Casey Shermick wishing you a pleasant remainder of your night, and we thank you for watching here on the GoValiants TV network.